I was halfway through solving a geometry problem when I noticed something strange. The question was not just about an abstract house, it was describing my own house. The square footage, the number of windows, and even the slight slant in the hallway were all exact. I stared at the page, my pencil frozen in my hand, as my stomach twisted reading the next question. Practice problem: the footsteps. You are sitting at your desk when you hear footsteps in the hallway. Your house measures 30 feet in length, and the average human stride is 2.5 feet. How many steps will it take for the sound to reach your door? I barely finished reading before I heard it, a soft, deliberate step, then another and another. They were getting closer. Welcome to Midnight Mystery, where we bring you the most chilling horror stories from the depths of the internet. Tonight's story will make you question reality itself. A student discovers that their math homework is eerily accurate, too accurate. With every problem solved, something in the house changes. Stay tuned. It began on an ordinary night. I was at my desk working through my math homework. I had always been decent at geometry, but this problem felt different. The measurements were too familiar. I glanced at my bedroom door, then back at the book. Perhaps it was just a coincidence. I shook off the unease and decided to test it. I grabbed my dad's measuring tape from his toolbox and checked the dimensions of my room, 12 feet by 14 feet with a 9-foot ceiling. My throat tightened. It was an exact match. The page seemed darker than before, the ink shifting as if it were alive. Then, right before my eyes, a new question appeared beneath the first one. Practice problem: the knock. You are in your bedroom when you hear a single knock from across the house. Based on the sound, how far do you estimate it to be? A chill ran down my spine, and then I heard it, a single deep, hollow knock echoing from somewhere downstairs. I held my breath, my heart pounding. My dad wasn't home. No one else was supposed to be here. Slowly, I got up and stepped toward the door. "Hello," I called softly. There was no answer. I grabbed my phone, ready to call someone, when another knock came, louder this time. And this time, it wasn't from downstairs. It was right outside my bedroom door. I shut the book and shoved it aside as I backed away. The knock came again, sharper now, like knuckles rapping against wood. My breathing quickened as I glanced at the book resting closed on my desk. What on earth was this? A joke or a trick of my imagination? Deep down, I knew it was. I edged toward the door and pressed my ear against it. Silence. I exhaled shakily and turned the knob, inching the door open, only to find nothing. The hallway was empty, yet something was wrong. The air felt thick, as if I were standing underwater, and the light seemed dimmer, stretched unnaturally across the floor. Then I saw it, a shadow at the end of the hall. It did not move or shift, it simply stood there, watching. My stomach twisted. I blinked, and the shadow was gone. I slammed the door shut and locked it, my heart hammering in my chest. I backed away, my eyes darting toward the math book. It was open again, and a new question had appeared. Practice problem: the visit. You have been chosen. A Euclidean primitive is coming to your destination, and you must give it your most valuable dimension. Which one will you forfeit? My blood ran cold. What exactly was a Euclidean primitive? The knock returned, harder this time, shaking the door. I grabbed the baseball bat from under my bed, my hands clammy around the handle, and asked, "Who's there?" My voice trembled. There was only silence. Then I heard the knob begin to turn. I choked on my breath and stepped back until my legs hit the bed. The door creaked open, revealing nothing, but my hallway was gone. In its place was a mirror image of my room, perfectly inverted. My bed, my desk, my window, everything was the same, but flipped, everything except me. I swallowed hard, gripping the bat tighter. The air crackled like static, and then from the mirror room something began to move. A shape, a shifting mass of mirrors folding in on itself like an optical illusion, stepped forward. It was humanoid in form, yet entirely reflective, its surface bending and warping like liquid glass. My breath caught as the figure tilted its head. When it spoke, its voice was my own. "Choose." I stumbled back, my pulse pounding in my ears. "What?" I managed to ask. The figure raised a prismatic hand and pointed at my face. "You pick." I darted a glance at my math book. The question burned into the page: which dimension will you forfeit? My mind raced, length, width, height, time. If I lost any of these, what would happen to me? Desperation took hold as I looked at the clock above my bed. "Time," I whispered. "Take time." The entity stilled, and then its mirrors glowed. "Time," it repeated. A brilliant light exploded outward. I shielded my eyes, and when I opened them again, I was standing in my room. Everything was unchanged. The math book was gone, and the mirror figure had vanished. I exhaled shakily. Maybe it had worked. Then I heard a scream. I ran to the bathroom and froze. An old man was staring at me, wrinkled, hunched, with thin white hair. It took me a moment too long to realize that I was looking in a mirror. I stumbled back, my hands trembling, my legs weak, and my body feeling frail. When I tried to scream, my voice emerged hoarse. I had given up time, I had aged. Outside the door, my father was shouting, demanding to know why a stranger was in his son's room. I spent 10 days in jail before my father dropped the charges. He couldn't explain it, he couldn't understand it, but deep down, I think he knew. Something had taken his son and left behind something else. Now I sit in my room, staring at the blank space where the math book once lay, wondering if somewhere in a classroom another student is opening their textbook and finding the next question.